Hi, and welcome to On the Couch with Bianca. We have a very special guest with us today, the sponsor, Paul Ropp. Hi, Paul.
Bianca, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, and it's an honor to have you today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, first up we have, well, the serious questions. We want to know a bit about you and how Paul Ropp is going. And then the second part is we will do some fast, funny questions. And there's a last special question that we ask all our guests.
Okay, let's go for it.
But tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get started in fashion?
Well, I always wanted to be a criminal, but I just didn't have the I guess, right attitude, and I couldn't keep a secret. So I knew that was a bad thing to do, because if you're a criminal, you've got to be very quiet about it, and I like to talk about what I'm doing.
So you got started in fashion because you couldn't really be a criminal?
I didn't want to be a criminal.
No.
I mean, I couldn't be a criminal. Couldn't keep a secret.
So how long would you say you've been in fashion?
Well, I got into fashion in... Actually, let me correct that. Bianca, I don't think of myself as being in fashion. I'm an ooh and ah.
What is an
ooh, ah? And it has nothing to do with fashion. It has to do with putting treatments and details and colors and textures. And it's more artsy-fartsy than it is fashion.
So, would you say it's very complicated, or?
No, you work from your heart, and you work from your level of what you perceive to be attractive, and then if you're lucky, if people like it, you're in the business and you make money.
Wow, sounds like a fun business. I'd love to.
Well, I built it to support my lifestyle. I didn't build my business to make money. I built my business to pay for the way I live. To have the freedom to get on a plane where I want, when I want, to be lucky enough to eat good food and be in beautiful places and meet interesting people. And now when you get a little bit older, you want to make a business of it, so that's what I've been working on for the last decade.
So where would you say you're originally from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Wow, so you grew up there?
Well, the first 8 years, and then, unfortunately, I was a rather unusual child, and the city of New York became my custody. I was classified as incorrigible, meaning I didn't want to go to school, I didn't want to listen to adults, I wanted to go my own way, so I was placed in a school with a lot of other kids with similar obstacles to overcome, and that's where my creativity really had an opportunity to surface.
So when you were a child, what was your favorite food?
My favorite food, pizza and Diet Coke. No, pizza and Coke, there was no Diet Coke. Matter of fact, dinosaurs were still walking.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
When you were a kid?
Yeah, that long ago.
So, on your iPod, what was your most played song? Or your favorite?
You know, Bianca, I used to be in the music business, and I was exposed to some really talented characters, both men and women. And actually, I never got into the lyrics. I got into the notes and the rhythms and how I felt when I heard the music. And if I were to think of what music I like best, I like the street music, you know, the street music of going into a park and hearing people bang away on congas and bongos and just street music, bottles, spoons, anything to make a rhythm and to feel that rhythm shared by other people in a group. It's kind of magic, and I don't identify with a song, but with a beat.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, so you listen to the rhythm and the beat.
I never got into the words. Only now, as I'm getting older, I'm able to catch the lyrics, but in reality, yeah, I react to music by the way it makes me feel. I think with people your age, you guys are very much into the romance and the learning that some of the songwriters can share with you. But geez, I always had problems with the words, even in school. It was the topic, but not the words.
Wow. And what would you say is your favorite quote?
Better today than yesterday, better tomorrow than today, better and better in every way.
And do you know who's it from? Who is it from?
Yep, it was a program that I was given in a seminar called Mind Control, where we began to take ESP, which most people perceive as extrasensory perception, and we took it a step further and made it into extrasensory projection, where we chose the direction we want, the results we want to have, experience, and we create them by projecting them and realizing them.
So, enough about quotes. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
My favorite outdoor activity is being on the ocean.
Sailing?
Sailing, motoring, swimming. I love nature, and nature is personified for me by the power of the ocean.
So you love being out in nature.
Well, being out in nature, you know, I had a lot of country when I was younger, because my school was in the country, and that was spectacular. You know, the tadpoles, the frogs, the turtles, the apples and the cherries and the berries, and knowing where to find the blueberries when they're in season. And that was great, and catching butterflies and letting them go. And, you know, it was just a wonderful thing. But to me, real nature is intensified when you're on the ocean, because the ocean is so powerful. It's not like being on a horse where it's just a one-to-one. Nature can swallow you up, and if you're disrespectful, or if you don't listen to it, and you don't watch where the waves are telling you to go or where not to go. Yeah, the ocean is very powerful. So I listen. I feel. I love the ocean.
So, what chore do you absolutely hate doing?
Taking care of myself.
So, you wouldn't say you do much exercise then?
No, I'm saying I have a lot of people taking care of me.
Oh, that's funny. So, what is your favorite form of exercise?
Fishing. That's
Fishing.
Absolutely my favorite. Catching dinner and calling my staff and saying, I just caught a 30-kilo fish, call the A-list, and that night we have dinner for 30.
Oh, so you feed all your staff too.
Yeah, and I like that. That to me is still my favorite party and my favorite pastime.
What is your least favorite mode of transportation?
Any that prevents me from getting to where I want to go.
If you could throw any kind of party, what would it be like, and who would it be for?
Well, you've been to some of my parties over the years, and for me, I think the party I like to throw is where people have the best time, and music, dance, healthy food, no sugar in the drinks.
What if you could witness any event, past, present, or future? What would it be?
Yeah, I kind of relate to the period of Bushido, which is a style of living that 14th century, 17th century Japanese samurai used to live by, where practicing what you say you're going to do, you do it, and you're there to help others and protect others, and just a style of living that today seems to be almost non-existent.
And If you could design an outfit for any person, past, present, who would it be?
Oh, I design for people who prefer to be naked.
Oh, that's also like, so you design clothing.
I like freedom, and I think people basically get to a point in their life where freedom is very precious and clothes can be very restricting. And when I came to Asia from New York, most of us were walking the beaches naked, and we were very happy. And there was a certain freedom, a certain ability to expose yourself and not to be embarrassed by the way you looked or who you were looking at, and just to be able to accept people as people and not read them by the watch they were wearing or the pocketbook they were carrying. Sensual but not sexual.
So, last question. What was the first thing you bought with your own money?
I would say it was probably a motorcycle.
Motorcycle. Wow.
Yeah, it was a 500cc Triumph hill climbing motorcycle.
Enough of the serious questions. Now we can move on to the fun questions. My favorite part, personally.
I like fun.
Okay, so here's the rules. So I ask you these questions, and you just have to answer as fast as you can. Then I ask you the last question that I ask everyone who comes on this show. And yeah, so.
I'll do my best.
Okay, here we go. Bali or Phuket?
Well, they're part of the same planet, so I don't think of myself living in a location. I think of myself living on a rock in the middle of a galaxy, which is probably in a much bigger intergalactic perspective.
Who's your best friend?
Myself.
Reading books or watching movies?
Oh, I love reading books, but I also love watching movies.
So both. Favorite color?
Blue.
What's your all-time favorite song?
Interesting. I cannot think of my favorite song.
Oh. Pizza or burgers?
I'm sorry?
Pizza or burgers?
Oh, I like the things that are sometimes not so good for you. I like burgers.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, I think Star Trek was the beginning of Star Wars.
And Coke or Pepsi?
Well, both are not very good for you, and I like them both, of course.
And what was the last thing you watched on TV?
The bombing of the massacre in Paris.
Yeah, I watched that too. So, thanks for being on the show, but for this one we're going to ask the final question. You ready? Show us your funniest dance.